Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Let's Get Ready Network. I'm Adelia. That's my buddy Brandi. We just watched the penultimate episode of season 1 of Happy's Place, titled "The Doctor Is Out," and I thoroughly loved this episode.
I loved it too.
Brandi, how are you doing tonight?
I'm hanging in there, like always. I did love
Yeah.
this episode. I needed a Happy's Place is my Happy's Place.
Mm-hmm.
I needed a little, even though it was a little, some of it I was like, oh,
Yeah.
my heart.
This one, Steve has been one of my favorite characters this season because of the way
Mhm,
they've portrayed his mental health and not making fun of him at times, but not in a mean way, not in a derogatory way, not in a he's lesser than all of them because he has these issues kind of way, which is the way that a lot of times mental health is portrayed in stuff.
mhm,
I've loved his portrayal of the OCD and everything he deals with on a daily basis.
mhm,
And this episode that we get here at the end, right before the season finale, being another Steve centric episode about his mental health, the progress that he's made, but the progress he still has to make, really, really meant a lot to me.
mhm,
Because, for those who are not aware, I have schizoaffective disorder and it's pretty tough to deal with most days. And seeing a portrayal like this of someone who's struggling with their mental health, but still there and still has their friends and their friends who really care about him. And when Steve's obviously slipping a little bit when he rearranges the kitchen in this episode, that there's the friend that comes in and says, "Look at all the progress you've made, but why are you stopping here?
mhm,
You need to keep making more progress."
mhm.
And it resonated with me so much. It just, this stuff means a lot to me.
And just like Adelia, I'm her friend, and I'm there for her whenever she needs it. She's also there
Yeah.
for me whenever I need it. We're there for each other in different ways, just like everybody in Happy's Place are there for each other in different ways too. And it's
Mm-hmm.
a real portrayal of how people really
Friends.
are. Yeah, friends
Friendship.
are. Yeah, friends
This
how friends and people are.
the ensemble cast this season, the actors have all been great, but the writing of the friendships and
Mhm,
the different things that make the different friendships work within this friends group has been
mhm,
so fantastic. I love this show so much, and I'm so
mhm.
glad that we're not getting a series finale next week, but instead a season finale, and we have a season 2 to look forward to.
That makes me happy.
It makes me happy
Peace
too.
place.
Yeah. All right. So we started out with Steve coming into Bobby's office
Mhm.
to get Isabella and Bobby to sign some
Big
paper of some sort. Never explain what the paper is.
mhm.
They're just signing something for Steve.
Yeah, that's why I was like at first I thought it was like like, did we see this one before? Because he's come in there and had them sign something before. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a repeat episode, but it
Yeah,
was
that was like the taxes thing, I think,
Uh-huh,
was
uh-huh,
the previous time, but this time he just comes in there, "I need you to sign this, Isabella." Isabella signs it, then Bobby signs it, and Steve goes to leave, but he has Bobby's pen in his hand,
mhm,
and he just hands it back to Bobby, and he doesn't freak out about germs, and he doesn't
mhm,
freak out about anything like that,
mhm,
which he has done all throughout this season, and
mhm,
Bobby notices it and points it out.
mhm,
And Steve just, is like, "Yeah, I've been working really hard, making some progress,
mhm.
and I know you're a very sanitary
I see
person.
you wash your hands all the time.
I seen you wash your hands all the time, and I just gave you the pen back."
Mhm, and
And yeah,
I like that Isabella did the same thing. "You want my pen?" He's like, "No, thank you."
no, thank you. Yeah,
And she's like, "I wash my hands."
yeah, that
She
was great.
said that to Bobby. She goes, "You see me wash my hands."
But at this point is when Bobby says to Steve, "You can do anything you put your mind to."
Too.
And Steve takes that as out external permission to quit therapy.
Yeah.
And that is not what Steve should have done. And that's not what Bobby meant either.
No, that's not what it means. It's like whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. Not quit therapy because
Therapy.
you're done with all of that. No.
Yeah.
But he has a good reason what he explains later on, but we'll continue.
Yeah. So I believe the next part was Gabby and Dakota and Emmett.
Mhm.
And I like that we had the three of them in the side storyline this
Mhm.
week because I don't think we've had the three of them in a side storyline together
Mhm.
so far this season. And Gabby is talking very loudly on the phone and it's bothering Emmett. And so Emmett comes out of the kitchen to stand by the bar in hopes that he can't hear Gabby, but he can still hear Gabby.
Uh-huh.
And then Gabby comes in talking about how she's got a side hustle
Mhm.
to earn some extra money for an espresso machine, selling these Serenity bracelets. And the
Mhm.
second I heard what she was doing, which is not actually selling the bracelets, but convincing other
Recruiting.
people to
Yeah.
sell the bracelets.
She was recruiting. She was
She was
recruiting.
recruiting. I was like, "Oh, this is a pyramid scheme or a
Mhm.
Ponzi scheme of some sort."
Mhm.
And Emmett's immediately suspicious.
Mhm.
But Gabby starts talking about all the money that she's making doing this
Mhm.
and that it's going towards this espresso machine. And Emmett says, "Well, didn't you quit coffee?" And Gabby says, "Well, yes, but I didn't quit the coffee culture, frothed milk and all that." Like,
Uh-huh.
that was very funny to me.
Mhm.
Um,
I don't drink coffee, so it was foreign to me. I know
yeah,
what froth milk is. I know what that is, but it's I'm not coffee.
yeah. I very rarely drink coffee. I will
Mhm.
occasionally drink like
Mhm.
a latte or something. But it was just very funny to me that she's getting an espresso machine not to drink the coffee, but to froth the milk. And I'm just sitting here going like, there's like milk frothers for that. Like you don't have to get an espresso machine for that.
She doesn't wanna go to the coffee place. She wants to keep her pants on. Off.
Yeah, she wants to keep her pants off.
Mhm.
This is so and so Emmett later in the episode sums this up as though she's doing this so she can drink coffee with no pants on.
Mhm.
Which I mean, that's Gabby's priority. More power to her.
Same. I'm with Gabby. I don't like getting up to put my pants on and doing things either. But I had to put pants on to go get my food a little bit ago. 'Cause I would've scared the delivery driver if I had no pants on.
Yeah.
Would've gave him a surprise, though.
I I almost always have pants on. Like I hate my bare legs. So, yeah. I know, I know.
It's
Anyways,
it's a long nightgown.
it's a long nightgown, yeah. Anyways, then we go back to Steve who has shown up at Bobby's house with coffee. And he
I like
rings the
how
doorbell.
he just walked in.
He rings the doorbell, then he opens the door and says, "Hello," and then just walks in. And he's in the kitchen when Isabella comes out of her bedroom because she was
Mhm.
still asleep,
Mhm.
and says, "I'll be right there." And Steve
Mhm.
says, "I'm right behind you." And
She
Isabella
screamed.
screams, like I would do if that happened to
Uh-huh.
me.
Uh-huh.
And the scream wakes Bobby up.
I would've been but see, if you would've screamed, I would've laughed unlike Steve did, but I would've been cracking up laughing. I'll be like, "I'm sorry.
Yeah,
The door was open." And then
I
Bobby
would have
comes up.
screamed.
Yeah.
Bobby comes out and she's like, "I don't know what's going on, but that scream woke me up from sleeping, and there's gonna be blood if there isn't already." And that's when Steve says he wants to talk to Bobby and get to know Bobby better on a personal level.
Mhm.
And Bobby thinks that's, nice that he wants to become better friends with her. But then he
Mhm.
says, to really get to know me, first you have to know about my father. And he sits down on the couch and he pats the couch and says, "Sit down," and starts in on back in Colombia in the 1950s before we go to commercial break.
Before that, Isabella excuses herself and says, "I told my blanket I'd be right back."
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Isabella did do that. Yeah.
I'm like, which would have been a Brandy thing. I gotta go. I told my blanket I'd be right back. And the pillow.
And so we have the commercial break and then we come back and do we go straight back to Bobby and Isabella, or did we go back to the bar? I don't remember. I feel like we go back to Bobby and Isabella, where Bobby's making coffee
Mhm.
in the kitchen because Steve is coming over again. This will be the third morning in a row.
Mhm.
And Isabella just basically asks Bobby how these conversations are going. And Bobby says, well, it's a lot of Steve talking. And
About
I don't get to
stuff.
say much.
Mhm.
And Isabella correctly identifies it as trauma dumping.
Oh, yes.
That's Steve is doing the textbook definition of trauma dumping.
Mhm.
And so Bobby acts like she knows exactly what Isabella's
Mhm.
talking about and agrees with her.
Uh-huh.
And so when Steve shows up, Isabella goes, s she leaves,
Mhm.
and Bobby's talking with Steve and telling him that, "I think you're drama humping," which made me laugh so
Oh,
hard.
I laughed hard at that too.
I was a few seconds ahead of Brandi. We were watching this together in a Discord, which you can join by using the link in the description below, and, I started laughing, and I couldn't tell her what it was about because I knew she was about to get there, and then she was like, "Oh, yeah, I just got there." Started too.
That was funny.
Really funny.
Trauma humping.
Trauma humping. Um, and then she tells Steve, you know, "You're basically replaced your therapist with me, and
Mhm.
you're using me like I'm your therapist." And Steve realizes that that's what he's doing, and
Gets upset, right?
he kinda doesn't though, because he says he feels fantastic,
Mhm.
and he goes to hug Bobby, but then doesn't because he realizes he's not there yet,
Mhm.
and then leaves. And
So that's when he goes to the bar and
yeah.
rearranges Emmett's
Well, the next we cut to I think we cut to the next morning where Bobby and Isabella show up at the bar, and, um, I skipped over a part because definitely we had before this Gabby, Emmett, and Dakota talking, and Dakota decides he's going to, um
do the bracelet thing.
be one of
Summer.
Gabby's ambassadors,
Mhm.
selling these bracelets for the money to send his kids to summer camp because summer camp's expensive.
Mhm.
And Emmett has a talk with Gabby about how, like, "You know that this isn't good."
Mhm.
Like,
Have you done the
l
research on it? Have
"Yeah,
you
have you done the research?" You know, like and she's like, "I'm not 60 Minutes," which is, like, foreshadowing to a line she'll say in a few minutes.
Mhm.
Um, but Dakota's going to be, uh, one of the ambassadors, and, he's all excited about it.
Mhm.
And Emmett's just like,
Because he trusts
because he
Gabby.
trusts Gabby.
Mhm.
And Emmett's like, "There's your mistake."
Mhm.
And, we find out we'll cover the rest of the Emmett, Gabby, and Dakota stuff here because I don't remember the order of things anymore.
Mhm.
We just watched this episode, I don't remember the order of things. But, Dakota comes in the next day with a check ready to get the bracelets,
Mhm.
and Gabby's like, "Well, I may have told them to go to hell."
Mhm.
Because she found out some things that were not right because she went all 60 minutes on him in a heated phone call, and maybe it was actually that they told her to go to hell because they didn't appreciate her questions.
Because she had her hair singed off of her
Yeah,
from the bracelet.
from the bracelet. And so, Dakota says she's gonna have to pick up some more handyman jobs to pay for his kid's summer camp because it's getting more expensive all the time,
Mhm.
and Gabby says, "No, you don't. I'm gonna give you the money that I have been making because it's better used on your kids than it
Mhm.
is on my espresso machine."
Mhm.
And that was a really touching moment.
That was. And then it was touching that Dakota gave her a bracelet that his kid made him at camp from last year, and I went, "Oh."
Yeah,
That was an aw moment too.
yeah, and then Gabby's left there with Emmett, and Emmett's like, "You did the right thing, Gabby." And Gabby looks down at the bracelet and goes, we could sell these. Emmett's like, Gabby. She's like, nope, no, we're not. We're not going to sell these. Not. And then, so the rest of the Bobby, Isabella, and Steve stuff is that Bobby and Isabella come to the tavern to open it up, and Steve is already there, and he has rearranged everything in the kitchen.
Mhm.
The kitchen that earlier in this episode, Emmett specifically said, "Stay out of my kitchen."
Mhm.
And he just is like got everything arranged in alphabetical order, the spices, but alphabetical order, and then by height, and then by color of the lid. And
Mhm.
I forget exactly the word that Gabby used to describe what he was doing, but he was basically replacing all the negative things that he was doing with something that he thinks will be helpful, but is
Mhm.
actually harmful.
Mhm.
I forget what the technical term for it is.
I forget what it was too.
And Steve's just like, yeah, I guess you're right.
Mhm.
But he doesn't want to go back to therapy.
Mhm.
And he leaves the kitchen, and then later Bobby calls him into her office, and he sits down on the table right when they start this on Isabella's desk, a small, like one of those travel sized bottles of hand
Mhm.
sanitizer.
Mhm.
And Bobby tells him she's worried about him.
Mhm.
He's not right. And he says, I don't want to have to question things. Like Bobby sits down at the desk and
Mhm.
he's like, you can just sit down. I have to think about all of these different questions before I sit down.
Mhm.
Is it okay if I sit? Should I be standing? Like racing thoughts kind of stuff.
Mhm.
And like, I totally understand that.
Yep.
And so Bobby, in the course of this conversation, puts this half used, maybe a little less than half used,
Giant.
giant jug
Giant.
of
Hand
hand
thing.
sanitizer on the desk. And she found it in storage.
Mhm.
Its name is Patricia, apparently, because Steve named it back when he had to use it all the time. And it's in storage now because Steve doesn't need it anymore. He can use the smaller bottles now. And Bobby's point was, when you started working here, you needed this huge thing.
Mhm.
Now you're down to this little thing. Why are you stopping here?
Yep. He's come
And
so far, just to show him how far he's come.
Steve says he doesn't know what it's going to take for him not to be broken. And
Mhm.
Bobby tells him, you're not broken.
Mhm.
And he just wants to be able to handle stuff like everybody else does. And Bobby laughs at that and says, we don't handle our stuff on our own.
Mhm.
That's what friends are for. That's what family's for. That's what they are to each other.
Mhm.
And this whole scene was just beautiful. When
Mhm.
Steve said he was exhausted of having to do all of this, I felt that deep in my bones because I also am exhausted from having to deal with all this.
He was almost crying, so that made me almost tear up too. I was like,
Yeah.
"Mm."
This was a really emotional scene that Pablo acted incredibly.
Mhm. He did. And you just felt the emotion that he goes through, like, you felt how he's just tired of doing all this, and he just
You
wants to
felt
be
the
normal.
weight on him of
Mhm.
everything that his mind
Mhm.
does to him.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I just really, really love the portrayal of Steve in this episode
Mhm.
because he had a bit of a manic moment when he was rearranging the kitchen
Mhm.
and everything. And I've had moments like that too, where it's just all of a sudden I'm going to rearrange my room.
She's done that.
I
I
did that not that long ago. That's why there's a dresser behind me now
Uh-huh.
instead of my couch.
Mhm.
Like, the um there's just something beautiful about the way Bobby spoke to him about the progress he's made, and don't give up now,
Mhm.
you know? And it was just wonderful.
We all go through things in different ways, like Bobby does say we don't own him. Well, Delia, uh, rearranges her room. I go, "I need to do things," and then I just get too overwhelmed and I can't do it. I just stop. I can't do it. That's my thing is I get too overwhelmed and I just go, "Nope, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna go lay down instead and just not do it, and I'll still look at that corner that needs to be fixed or needs to be moved stuff. I gotta Adelia's coming here, and I gotta fix the room up in the other room. I mean, it's fixed up, but there's some things I need to get out of there, and again, I go, "Nope, not today. I'm not gonna do it today." I just keep putting it off, where Steve has to do it and Adelia has to do it. I'm the opposite. I have to do it, but I don't do it. So we all
Yeah.
have our different things that we have. I get
Yeah.
too overwhelmed.
Yeah. It's just nice to see a portrayal of someone
Mhm,
suffering from something like this
mhm,
who's making progress. We've seen
mhm,
Steve make progress over the course of this season,
mhm,
but it's acknowledged he still has a long way to go,
mhm,
and he'll probably never get to the point that he wants to get to. But he's not broken.
mhm,
Those little quirks that he has to do, which are exhausting to him, also are what makes him him.
mhm,
And you take those away, and he's not him anymore.
mhm,
I've personally struggled a lot with what's a symptom and what's my personality.
mhm.
Because, like, I've had this for so long that I can't differentiate between the two sometimes.
That's the same with me. I like the thing, it's just Brandi, but it's I know it's a problem. I know I have issues too. I do wash my hands a lot, and I will get upset if my mother doesn't wash her hands too after touching things like the door handle out in the entryway that everybody touches, and she just because she touches her face and her mouth like a kid. So I'm like, please go wash your hands. And it bothers me when she doesn't. So
Yeah.
I have those things too. So I do have quirks with my things, and my sisters made fun of me for it growing up. And I'm like, that's what just makes me me.
Yeah.
And that's what makes Steve Steve.
Mhm.
It's a part
And
of who we are.
it's a part of who we are, and
Mhm,
the acceptance of the people around him
mhm,
of that has just been beautiful.
mhm,
Because it's something that I didn't really have in my life until I met everybody around LGR.
mhm.
And it's just a wonderful feeling having friends like that.
And I hadn't I'm gonna tell a story a little bit of so I have a thing where I cannot travel to places by myself. Like, I have a real bad anxiety. It's something I've had all my life, and I had a friend that hurt me. It's like all of a sudden she's known me for 15 years, and then all of a sudden it was a problem that we were going someplace, and then her and another friend made up another excuse of why they couldn't go. It was an excuse, and I'm not stupid. And then all of a sudden, my issues that I've had my whole life was suddenly a problem to them. That, "Oh, we're gonna go you wanna go to this thing to me, but you can't stay with me and come with me, like, you need to go off on your own." Like, now all of a sudden it was a problem. And because, I said something, I stood up for myself, she decided to, um, spread lies about me to other people, and other people came to me, and some people unfriended me because of it. All because she had an issue with me and my little OCD thing and my little anxiety that I have, but now I have friends that understand me and hopefully will not leave me.
Oh,
So,
not happening.
when Steve had that and he felt that emotion, I'm like, "I kind of felt it too, a
Yeah.
little bit. Sorry."
No,
Who
it's
who would
okay.
know to kinda go
It's
through that too.
okay because I totally understand what you're feeling at this you know,
Mhm,
because I have things like that too. Like, I can't go certain places by myself. I
uh-huh,
can't do a lot of things by myself, but I've also, like, pushed outside my comfort zone a little
yes,
bit, and now I'm getting on a plane and flying to Massachusetts in, like, 9 days or so to see you, and I can't wait. And
Yeah,
we're gonna go have fun. And anytime you want to go somewhere and I can go with you, it will be happening.
yeah.
You're not getting
Well,
rid of me.
this is the it's the things, I've made progress with some things, like,
Mhm.
I didn't travel by myself. The first time I traveled on a plane by myself, I was 21, going to my sister's because my sister had moved away. That was the first time I was on a plane. And then when I went on a trip by myself, well, with a friend, I was 24, and that was to LA, and I was with other people, and I'm like, they understood at that time, like I couldn't travel by myself. So I had a friend that actually lived near me that I became friends with because of soap operas, and we traveled together, and I stayed with her. And then I had another friend that I was staying with at the hotel, and then the last day she decided, "Oh, you can't stay in the hotel with me tonight." So had anxiety. I'm like, "What am I gonna do?" But I luckily had another friend that said, "That was wrong of her to do. Come stay in the room with me, and then
Yeah.
you can come with me back to the airport in the morning and stuff." So that was my first trip, and I had those anxieties, and I had a friend do something to me there too. But after that, like, they all understood, and they're like, I had other friends be like, "I'll meet you at the airport." And because I had that goal in mind to, like, yes, I'm traveling by myself, but I have somebody on the other side waiting for me. And that
Mhm.
made me feel okay. Like, yeah, I have anxiety. Just like when I travel now, if I go to Justin, I know I have somebody waiting for me. I go to my sister's, I have somebody waiting for me. My nieces will pick me up, my sister will pick me up, my brother-in-law will pick me up. I went with Adelia, we went to Arizona. Um, I switched my flight so I could fly with her, so we wouldn't be by ourselves coming in. Like, my flight was flying into Colorado, and she was there also. So I decided to switch my flight to be on the plane with her, so we could fly in together instead of two of us flying separate flights and coming in separately. We were together, and and Delia had her little anxiety, and I was there, and I helped her. I'm like, you know what? I have this anxiety too, but we're gonna be okay. This is gonna be good. We're gonna do this. And then I said, if you need me, if you need that moment to just be quiet, but if you want to talk or anything, I'm right here.
Mhm.
But I have those anxieties. But if I've pushed myself, and we're pushing ourselves. These problems ain't gonna just go away. These
No.
anxieties that we have do not just go away.
No.
Some people think that, oh, because you've had this for a while, you should be over this. It's not something I get over. It's not something that
Yes.
Delia gets over. You're like, this is who we are, and if you can't accept that, then why are you in our lives? And luckily, Steve has those people in his life that understand him and are there for him, and I'm not going to leave him. Just like I
Yeah.
know I have Adelia, she'll be there, and Justin,
Mhm.
and Ferris, and Matt.
Yeah. All of us. We'll all
Mhm.
be there.
We had Matt who had an issue with things in his thing, but even though we had to let him try to come back to us because we couldn't force,
Mhm.
but we were there for him when he needed us, when he came back to us.
Yep.
We're there.
Because we understand.
Mhm.
And like
Mhm.
there might be times when I get really bad,
Mhm.
not because you guys haven't seen that yet. And I know that when I come out on the other side of it, my friends are still going to be there for me because I have told everybody this is what might happen.
But you see that we were still there. Like I told you, I'll and I'll get a hold of your parents or your sister or somebody, and I know we'll try. Sorry, this went longer than the episode. Mhm. 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 I understand that too.
Everybody in the ensemble is fantastic, but he really stood out tonight,
Mhm.
and so did the writing of just how beautiful they've made that character, even with all his flaws.
Mhm.
And I loved this episode. This might be my favorite episode of the season.
And then we didn't get to say Emmett at the end came in to the office.
Oh yeah.
It was like came into my kitchen, touched my stuff, don't touch my space, respect my space. And then he was like, "Thank you," and he walked out.
Yeah.
Like Steve was like,
And then Bobby was like, "There's something to talk to your therapist about."
uh-huh. I'm
Yeah,
trying so hard
that
not to
was a
blame
great
him.
end. That was a great end to the episode.
That was it,
Great
but
end to our discussion here too.
it lightened the moment
It did.
here and there.
Um Now, the one thing that I will say I noticed in this episode that I've noticed in prior episodes, but like we're 17 episodes into this season, are
Mhm.
we ever going to have a customer character on this show that's not like a background extra? Because there's always the tavern's full of background extras,
Yeah,
but we don't have any like customers. And like one of the things that made like Cheers such a beloved show was you had the staff and you had the customers, and
Norm
I'm
and Cliff.
wondering if that's something they'll add next season.
Yeah, that's because you had Cliff and Norm and Frasier.
Mhm.
They were customers,
Yeah.
but Sam, Woody, Rebecca, um, Diane. I was trying to remember Carla. They're all
Carla. I wanted to
yeah,
say Darla, and I was like, I know that's not right.
Carla. They were all the patrons.
Yeah.
I mean, they were
I
the bartenders.
this is the staff and then
Yes, the patrons.
the patrons. I just think that maybe next season adding a character to not to the ensemble weekly, but like regular customers
Hmm.
that have a little bit of involvement in the story of that day. They're gabbing with Gabby at the bar or something.
I volunteer as tribute.
I just think that is something that this show is missing.
Hmm.
And I really felt it today in the scenes with Gabby
Hmm.
um, and everybody at the bar.
Yeah, they need to be. I mean, they have their little the extras that
They have
sometimes
the
they'll.
extras. The extras are great, but like also like Steve's like in the middle of the bar with his arms out wide and saying like things, and the guys behind them are just like acting like none of this is happening.
Yeah.
Like I just feel like there needs to be some interaction between the patrons and the staff.
Hmm.
Like Gabby's on the phone talking to somebody trying to sell him into becoming an ambassador for these bracelets while she's pouring 2 glasses of wine, and the girls she's pouring the wine for aren't even real acting like they're listening to this phone call.
Yeah.
It's just really weird. It just struck me as really weird today that we
Hmm.
don't have a customer character on this show. But maybe
Maybe
that'll change next year.
we
We'll
do.
see.
We just have guest stars.
Yeah. Um Loved this episode. This is a 5-star episode for me. My
I
favorite
love
of the
this.
season so far.
Yeah, I like this one too. Probably my favorite too.
And we'll be back next week with
I,
the
I promise I won't cry.
season finale, which is called Alarm Bells, according to IMDb.
Interesting. Interesting.
Interesting indeed. This is the season finale,
Mhm.
and it has to be the week before I go see Brandi, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because we could have done this together in person
Yeah, we
if
could have.
it was 1 week later.
Uh-huh.
But um, I'm
But
sure we I'm
then
sure
again,
we'll
though, we would have missed it.
we would have missed it because we would have been at 90s
It's
con.
kind.
But we would have done it during the week while I'm there. But
We could have done it in the hotel.
we could have done it in the hotel. But
I record my phone. I record it and I can watch it on our phone.
yeah, I'm sure that there will be retelling of our adventures on this visit to go see each other
Mhm.
um at some point. But for now,
Mhm.
we've got one more episode of Happy's Place.
I'm sad, but I'm glad it's coming back.
Yeah. You know when we could tell some stories from 90s Con on the channel is
Mhm.
during our 1,000 subscriber / 5-year anniversary stream. It's happening April 5th at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be a big party. We are going to have as many people from the channels as we can. We're going to have people from the sports channel and the main network entertainment channel, because we did this together as a team. Whether we're on one channel or the other, or one show or whatever, we all did this, and we all did this because of you guys and your a willingness to subscribe to the channel. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Please also like and share this video. We would really appreciate it.
Mhm.
Um, and Brandi, where can people find you?
People can find me here, on this channel with, sometimes I do it with Justin. That sounded wrong. Sometimes I do couples therapy. Sometimes I do couples therapy with Justin.
That's a clip out.
I know. I know, I totally know. And we do what on earth are they wearing? We'll be doing that for the Met Gala. That will be in May.
Yeah, with our good friend Star.
And
You're
we
on
did
the Daredevil
review, which I was upset about. So we won't spoil that for those who didn't watch. But I was not happy with Daredevil. And I'll be on the anniversary show.
Yeah, Brandi will be on the anniversary show.
And I don't know what else I'm doing.
We'll have other shows coming up for the post credits.
I'll be probably on all of them.
Probably. Same with me, even though sometimes I just really want a break. I'll be on them too. I revamped our website at letsgetreadynetwork.com over the course of the past week, so go check that out if you will, please. On the LGRN crew page, I put regularly appearing on all these shows for the people that are on regularly on those shows, and I realized I'm on more stuff than anybody, and this should just not happen. So we're gonna have to look into that maybe. But
maybe one day I'll be on the Buffy.
You're gonna be on Rewatchers Council.
Maybe.
I was not supposed to be on Rewatchers Council this week, and I was, because Ferris Muthana made me mad and didn't show up.
Sorry,
until
Ferris.
40 minutes into the episode.
Sorry, Ferris, we outed you.
Oh, he knows, because we discussed this when he showed up on the episode, during the episode. No, Ferris overslept, and I had to hop on with Snark, and it all worked out, so it's fine. But we will be discussing that on the open table Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific. It's what, 9 p.m. Eastern? Yeah, 9 p.m. Eastern.
Yep.
I've never been on Eastern time before. This will be my first time going on to Eastern time when I go visit Brandi. So
he's gonna be confused for a minute.
I am, because I'm used to converting everything to Pacific time, because that's where Drew is, and that's what based on everything for passion fruit. So it's a thing. But yeah, you can find me on the open table with Ferris, 6 p.m. Pacific this Sunday. We're talking our favorite TV shows. Starting 11 with Snark over on the LGRN Sports Channel. Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific, recapping the week that was in the English Premier League. And then the Daredevil Born Again post credits. Those come out Tuesday nights usually, after the episode comes out. And Rewatchers Council Thursdays, 3 p.m. Pacific on this very channel. That's our Buffy rewatch series right now. We're adding other elements to the Rewatchers Council very soon, including our MCU rewatch series, which starts on May 2nd. So check that out. There's links to both channels in the description of this episode, as well as our Ko-Fi page, ko-fi.com/LGR_network. If you feel like supporting us here at LGRN and what we do, we'd really appreciate it. And be sure you come on by April 5th for the anniversary stream. And come back next week for the season finale of Happy's Place.
Tell us what you like about the show and what
you
thought about this
Please
episode.
tell us what you thought about this episode in the comments below. Why do you love the show? Why are you indifferent to the show? If you are, just leave us a comment and let us know what you're thinking about this show. We appreciate everyone who's left a comment in the past. And until next time, guys, we are out of here. Bye.